Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Feliz from MTI, and in this video you are going to see what I call the Foundational Movement Program Routine, otherwise known as my warm-up. So in this video, you're going to notice that I start with breathing, lying down to create a state where my nervous system can actually calm down. We tap into what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. So we want to make sure that we do this before we actually start warming up so that the body can actually prepare itself for movement and to receive more information from the environment. So that's why I start with breathing. And then the routine continues and I go through 5 foundational human movements, and they are rolling, crawling, hinging, squatting, and what's known as the gait pattern. So this is apart just from walking. It's a reciprocal movement, an opposite arm, opposite leg motion, which based on our anatomical design is what we're designed to do. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to post any questions or comments that you may have, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So here I am lying on my back with my hands just over my ribs, and on the inhalation, the ribs expand, body relaxes, a little bit of an arch in the back, and then on exhalation, rib cage is pressed down. There is a simultaneous pelvic tilt here, and then squeezing of the ball in between the legs. And you can use a pillow or a towel, and just continue doing this motion. Inhale, exhale, press the ribs down, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the ball. You want to make sure that when you tilt, you don't lift the pelvis off the ground. It almost looks like I am, but really it's just a full tilt. From here, I'll grab my 2 ace bandages that are wrapped in a knot. They'll go through the legs and then on like a backpack. And then you'll grab another band and you'll want to crisscross it and then make a figure 8, just right across the shoulders. Ball in between the legs again. You want to combine the motion of breathing now with segmental spinal flexion, just curving forward and then creating extension. And you can repeat this anywhere between 5 to 8 repetitions. Inhale here and then exhale on the way down. And then I'll remove the ball. Actually, no, keep the ball in between the legs. Or you can get rid of the ball. But in this case, I keep the ball in between my legs and one leg is in front. And you'll do the same motion. You want to make sure that you tuck your chin as you look down. That will create a disturbance in your vestibular system here. And you might notice you might lose your balance a little bit. That's okay. If it's too much, just kind of spread apart the legs a little bit more. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Inhale to look up, exhale on the way down. Notice how on the way up, I'm pushing my feet into the ground and extending through the pelvis as you push the arms back against the band. And you can do this slow. I'm doing it to the rhythm of my breath, but you can slow this motion down and just make sure that you're not experiencing any discomfort. Yeah, see, I fall over too, and that's okay. So if you fall over, no big deal, just kind of come right back into the movement. From here, maintain a position where your feet are underneath your shoulders, and you'll start creating rotation. So the pelvis is facing forward, and you will twist to one side. Make sure your eyes follow the hand that is rotating. And then again, you're pushing your arms against the band. Exhale as you twist. Inhale to come back. And then make sure again that the pelvis is pointing forward. You can get rid of the ball or keep it in between the legs. And then you can't really see it from this angle, but you have one foot directly in front of the other. This is more in a tandem stance. And now I'm gonna only rotate to the right. So I'm creating segmental rotation of my neck and my spine, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. This increases receptor sensitivity, So it allows the body the opportunity to actually feel the environment more and to increase circulation to warm up. This next movement, you'll want to use a ball in between your legs and position yourself so that your feet are either against a couch or against a wall. And you'll place a band right by the neck. And notice my arms are extended here, but you can keep your elbows bent if the resistance is too much, or actually not use the band altogether. So you'll create neck extension and neck flexion. And then you'll actually see me, turn over this way so that I can have my feet against the couch. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do the same motion that I did before. So create chin tuck and chin lift motion. And then create segmental spinal flexion. So you wanna try to come up one vertebra at a time. Make sure you're squeezing the ball in between your legs. Exhale on the way up, and then inhale on the way down. And the band around the neck is just creating tension, creating distraction forces, kind of pulling at the vertebra, but there's resistance that builds as you do this motion, which over time will create an opportunity for the body to just move with more stability, more control. Now, I put the band on my right foot and weaved it through the inside of my leg, and then it's going to come around to the right shoulder, and we're going to grab another band here. You can place it on your left hip, or you can actually choose not to use the band and simply use the ball. So the bands create compressive forces through the body, again increasing what's called proprioception. Straight. Look at your hand, tuck your chin, and come up again one vertebra at a time. Goal is to really try to touch that opposite hand without lifting the right hip. And now we want to add to that motion. So what I grabbed there was a hip circle. Got that from Perform Better. And you'll place the band just right above the knees, and now we want to go into rolling here. So you want to lift your head, reach all the way over, and then create extension with your hip to roll back. Push into the band. So I have a green mini band that I put right on my feet, and then another band that's going to go around my neck. And this is called the Lying Gait Pattern. So it's an opposite arm, opposite leg motion. And anything that is touching the ground, so the leg and arm is actually pushing into it. And then I'm also pushing my leg into the sofa. Or if you're at a wall, you can push your leg into the wall as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the hip circle back on. And I'm going to continue to roll. This time, I'll start by leading with my left leg and extending with my left arm. So this is called lower body. Well, this is flexion rolling, and then extension rolling. Leading with the leg, And then I want to repeat the whole sequence that I just did on the other side. So I put the band on my foot, wrapped it around, and it's hooked onto the left shoulder. And then another band went on my right hip to my right shoulder. So coming back to a hook line position, ball is in between the legs, and I'm creating flexion of my cervical and, well, my entire spine really. Segmental spinal flexion, and then I'll want to repeat that motion and add rotation to it. Notice when you're doing this, you want to try to keep that left hip down if you're able to. Doing this motion over time too can create an improved length tension relationship of the back. So if you have back tightness, that'll help. So I've got my hip circle on again, and I'm going to go into rolling, extension rolling, and then flexion rolling. When you're doing the extension rolling, make sure that you're pushing into that leg. And since you have the band there, it makes it a little easier. And then I'll grab my green mini band, and I'll place it at my feet, and then again another band around my neck, and moving into the gait pattern. So there's a slight pause right there. You want to make sure you have distinct start, pause, and finish to the motion to allow the body the opportunity to actually create new pathways of movement that are more optimal. And then you can take those bands off and put the hip circle back on, and you'll move into rolling. So I'll lead with my right leg and then create extension with my right arm. In between movements, make sure that you give yourself enough time to breathe. Although these movements are simple, sometimes they can be a bit tiring. So this is being in a prone position, and I actually like to do this movement right before I do extension rolling, but I wanted to add it in to make sure that you're able to see just an example of cervical rotation movement here. And then now we're creating segmental extension. It's important that we do understand how the body works, and although we can notice parts here, the important thing to see is that our body works as a whole, as a system of systems, because we're complex adaptive organisms. We are not machines, and if there has been an injury to a certain area, there's no fixing of the area. It really is more of an adaptation that occurs. So I'm going to be moving into the Quadriceps Sequence here to prepare for crawling, and this band placement that you see here is unique to what I have going on. But you can do this movement with just one band around the neck and a ball in between your legs. And all I'm doing here is simply rocking forward and rocking back. So my shoulders are going just right at the fingertips, and I'm coming back towards the heel. And then I want to do the same motion with one arm. And notice how I just pause when I get to the hand. Your ability to push your arm forward will create this increased response of control and an improved ability to produce force through that arm. Understanding that it's not work independent of the head or the spinal column. And then I'll also repeat this on the other side. Just a little tidbit, I did have a right shoulder labral tear, so didn't have surgery, but I make sure that I take care of it and I do my movements to support my healing process. And then from here, now that we've done the weight shifting, we can move into the gait pattern in a quadruped position. So what you'll do here is position yourself so that your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips, and you'll push your arm into the ground, and then the opposite leg will go back into extension. So ideally when you're doing this, you want to be able to maintain an extended position through your spinal column, and then bring the arm back, not forward, because this mimics the way we actually walk. When we walk, we actually create extension in the arm and flexion of the opposite arm, but we're not bringing the arm that's in the air forward. It'll make sense once we actually start crawling. If you want to pretend that there's a wall, you can actually position yourself where your feet are against the wall and create extension there. And now I'm going to attempt to crawl here. This is a pretty small space. And you'll tuck your toes on the way back, push, and make sure you don't run into your couch like I did. Oops, right there. And just crawl forward a couple steps, and then tuck your toes and push the ground away from you as you crawl backwards. You can do this down a hallway. And notice how the movements just really transition. And now here we're doing the standing gait pattern. I have a mini band right at my feet. Remember, distinct start, pause, finish. And allow yourself the opportunity to just regulate. So that pause is so important because it gives the body the opportunity to become sensitive to the actual motion. So you can even slow that down a little bit more. And then we'll move into marching. Do this down the hall. That's Buddy, our Frenchie. And then going back at the arms. Here's your gait pattern. This is forward marching. And moving into gait vertical level change, otherwise known as a lunge. But I don't really like to use that word because it really doesn't give context to what is occurring here. So we understand what the gait pattern is, and we can add now simply a vertical level change, which is what you see here. And then just a pause at the top. And now we'll repeat this on the other side. Here's the gait pattern again, marching forward. And then on the way back, on the left side, you'll do a gait vertical level change, leading with the left leg. Start, pause, finish. From here, this is a specific band placement I use. You can replicate this on both sides. So I'll have a mini band around my ankles, and then another band is going to go just behind the neck to create extension, to promote spinal extension. And I'll be walking backwards to to facilitate that posterior fascial line, and then march forward, creating a gait pattern. On the way back, we'll add the arms to the motion. We have forward marching. And then I'll move into what's called now the gait horizontal level change. So push back with that right leg. And essentially this is basically a single leg deadlift. But the context that we're taking it from is understanding what the gait pattern is, and then we're just adding that horizontal level change and pushing right back into the band. Gives a nice input, giving the brain something to think about, something to push into. And then I will repeat this on the other side, but the band placement's a little bit different because when I weight bear on my right leg, what you can't see in the video is that when I was 16, I sustained a stress fracture that went undiagnosed, and I actually didn't find out I had it until I was 30 years old. By then it had healed, but I am walking backwards here and marching forward. But what's important to note here that specifically for me, it's a bit harder for me to produce force into that right leg. Multiple reasons that I won't name here, but then we're going to go into the gait pattern and a horizontal level change. I'll be weight bearing on my right leg this time. So left knee is going to come up, and I'm going to push back. Notice how I hold at the top. I don't want to rush into the movement. Pause, feel, and hold. Make sure you're breathing when you're doing this. And if you tip over, don't judge it. Simply come back and continue the motion, taking it as a learning opportunity. And from here, this is going to be the band placement for what's called a hinge, which is a horizontal level change. Feet are about hip width apart. The torso and the head are in an extended position, and I want to try to bring my torso parallel to the ground and then push the legs into the ground to assume a standing position. Shift the weight back and push. Something that you want to note here is that sometimes when we do this movement, the knees can collapse inward. And so if that's the case, we want to account for that. You can put a little mini band just above the knees, or the foot can actually collapse as well. You can put a mini band at the feet as well, or at the ankle. And here, moving right into a squat, which is a vertical level change. A small pause at the bottom, whatever available range you have, and pushing into the ground, standing up, and combining this motion with a breath. So typically an inhale on the way down and an exhale on the way up. And that's it. That's the routine for a foundational movement program. The band placement is specific to me, but the overall patterns are specific to just overall human